Welcome everyone to the OpenE webinar. We're going to be talking about how to connect the DSS v7 to a NIS server. So what is a NIS server? It's a network information service that basically, oh by the way, it did originally was called Yellow Pages, but a NIS is a client server directory services protocol. So a NIS server maintains and distributes a central directory of users and groups information. And one of the topics we're going to go over to is basically we're going to quickly show how to configure the NIS server without the users and groups below 101. You really don't want that. So we'll demonstrate that real quick. And then verify the NIS server is running and connect to the NIS server with the DSS v7. One of the first things we want to do is I'm logged into my NIS server. I'm using a Ubuntu server. So what I want to make sure is is the NIS server up, and what is my NIS server name? So what we're going to type is the NIS domain name. We're going to need this information. Here we see that it's ubuntunis.com. So I want to make sure though that I can connect to the NIS to the DSS v7. I want to make sure I use a ping. That way we can move on and show that when we demonstrate it we are connected. Usually I check to make sure that my NICs are configured correctly. So I do an IF config, and here you'll see that I'm on the third octet, 192.168.1.86 is my IP. And let's go ahead and ping the DSS. So we know it's 192.168.1.220. So now I get my echoes and we get my replies. So now we know we can connect to it. I've got my NIS server name. We have the IP address because we're going to need that to enter that into the DSS. And now what I want to do is, let me just show you how to create a user. By the way, when I created the NIS server, it's very easy. There's a lot of information out there, especially on YouTube, on how to do the NIS server and how to build one and all the intricacies that are needed along with the NIS. So let's go ahead and create a user. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go sudo user add -d, and then I'm going to give it the home directory, users. And I'm going to name this one user 7 because I already created some users. And we'll name it user 7. Give the sudo password. Now what we're going to want to do is we're going to create the password for that user 7. So what you're going to want to do, we'll do the same thing, sudo, and then we're going to say password space the username. So this was user 7. Now it's going to ask for the Unix password, so we'll give it a simple password for right now. So now we have updated the password. And once you create users like this, or if you have existing NIS servers, you can go ahead and add more users to that NIS server. So I just want to quickly demonstrate that. Now just because I've done that, does it really update the NIS server? Not really. So what I like to show you is you want to probably go to the var NYP directory. So here we will see that we're going to make the file, and what we're going to do is just going to go to sudo make. Now the directory has been updated with the password by the name, by user ID, by group ID, and here you see that. So let's take a look at what the IDs look like. So here's what we'll do is we'll just go back. Let's go back to CD. The root, and what we'll do is then let's take a look. So here what we'll do is YP again for Yellow Pages, we'll cat, and then we'll say password by name. So here you see that user 7 has been updated with the other users. Well, I created them 1 through 6 before. Of course, you see my name in there as well. And you notice it starts at 1,000. So you want to make sure that you don't have any users below 101. And this also is for if you want to get information for the groups as well. So if you wanted to see the same thing, what we'll do is just come back here and we'll go group by name. And here you see the groups by name as well. So this will tell you about the user IDs and group IDs. Okay, so that's pretty much it on the NIS server side that I wanted to present to everybody. Now let's go ahead and go into the DSS. In the DSS, the first thing, obviously I've created a NAS logical volume. If you're interested in just knowing where to go, it's configuration, volume manager, then volume groups. And pretty much you've already created your unit from your volumes. So here we're just using the unit S001. Over on the left, you'll see it as VG00. So I have many other volumes in here. What I've done was created a NAS volume, and here we'll be working with this NAS volume in this selection that we have right here on LV002. And if you put your mouse over it, you'll see it denotes it as NAS volume. You notice I cannot delete it because it's already running tasks. There's a snapshot associated with it. So here's my snapshot. So anytime you see a gray marked out, if it's not black where your finger can, if you put your mouse over, you see the finger, that allows you to remove it. If you have a task associated, you won't be able to. So now that we have already created our NAS, let's go ahead and go into configuration and go to NAS resources. And here you'll see NAS shares. So I can create a NAS share. It's very simple. Let's just go ahead and put one called for data. And here it automatically detected LV002. If there were other NAS volumes, you can select those as well. So we'll go ahead and apply that. And now you see the NAS volume over here on the left called data. Now, once I've created my NAS share, pretty much what we want to do is be able to authenticate to the NIS server. If you remember, we did the NIS domain name query from the NIS server. So we're just going to go to configuration. We're going to go to NAS settings. Now, by default, the DSS V6 or V7 is defaulted to an internal lightweight directory access protocol. So this way, you can create your own users in DSS. But now we're going to be able to create and connect to the NIS server that we've demonstrated before. So here we see ubuntu-nis.com. That was our NIS domain name. Here we have the IP address. If we did the ifconfig, if you remember, that is to identify the network IP address that we have for that NIS server. So now that's it. We're going to click on apply. And what it's telling you here is that if you already had existing users and groups that you've created inside the LDAP authentication by default with DSS, that it will be removed and replaced with the new users and groups that we're about ready to see. So if you remember, we looked at the shares, there were no users and groups. Now it's connecting to the NIS server, asking to import those users and groups. And once it's done, you'll see that it's freed up. Now we can go into the configuration, and we'll go right on down to NAS resources and back to our shares. And see on the left, it picked up all the users that we've created. So here, even on user 7, we see that that new user that we created, it populated in there. Now what we want to do is go into the share, and we want to be able to allow users either with users and passwords, and here we can check to see which users we would like for that share. So let's say I want to specify users 1, 2, and 3 only for the share, and I can apply that. So this would be for SMB and FTP and AFP if you had it. NFS, what you would need to do is enable the NFS file protocol. Here it's not enabled, it's turned off. Where do you turn it on? Very simple. What you do is go with configuration, NAS settings, and in NAS settings there is all the file service protocol services that you can enable here. We don't want them on by default for security reasons, so this is why we by default turn them off. So here I see NFS. I can go ahead and enable it, and you can see where I can enable the other file protocol services as well. Now let's go back to our NAS share. So we'll go to configuration, NAS resources, shares. Now that share that we created, data, we can enable for the NFS file protocol. So if we scroll down, and we now can enable it. So you have a lot of other options and selections that you can select for the NFS protocol, and that's also with FTP and the others as well. Now if we wanted to create, so like right now what we have is we have 3 users here. Now if we wanted to create for another share, very easily, and select the other users for it or all the users. Basically just real simple again. You just create another one, and we'll just call this Infor information. And remember, you can create many shares or many NAS logical volumes. So here we have information. We can also select guest with anyone without password, but for security reasons, we're going to leave it on with users with passwords. We're going to enable, let's say, all of the users can have this information share, and we can apply. And additionally, we can do that for the groups as well. We can also enable our file protocols. So again, if we want everybody to use NFS strictly, we can do that, and we can remove the SMB usage. Now only NFS is able to communicate NFS protocol through that share called information. That's it. That's how simple it is. And there's a lot of information about the NIS that if you have difficulties in being able to connect to it, or maybe you have an Active Directory services that you want to be able to have the NIS connect to, what you can do is just type in NIS right here on our search engine. You'll see a lot of information. You could sort it because you can get a lot of information from the website and the forums. Usually you want to take the knowledge base first, and there you could see all the knowledge base articles that we have containing NIS servers. So you've got a lot of information here that if you get into a situation where you're not able to connect to your NIS server, this is a perfect area for you to use our search engine. And that's with everything that we have. So if you just have information that you're looking for, that search engine will provide you with all that you need. By the way, all the videos are stored right here in support, webcast, and videos, and there's a plethora of information for you to reference to. Again, this is something that if you have difficulties in understanding, again, you can always contact us at the support site, and here we even provide you information as how to contact our pre-sale support if you ever need anything, such as this question mark right here. Again, we also have the libraries that have containing the how-tos, which are very important. So especially if you're doing active-active or the active-passive, this information is very well documented and it walks you step by step. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Have a great day.